All right, HBCU land, HBCU family. It's Kyle T. Mosley here with Coach Darryl Stewart on the line. We're here to talk about what's going to happen and go down in the SWAC championship game against Southern University in Jackson State. Coach, how you doing?
Doing well, Mr. Mosley. How about yourself, sir?
Good. All right, guys. If y'all want to chat it up, go ahead and put everything you want in the chat. I'm going to take all of the questions, comments, criticisms. No, I'm going to leave the criticisms up to Coach. He's going to take the criticism. But guys, follow us at HBCU Legends. Go to hbculegends.net, and you can follow all of the writings, my writings, as well as other contributors to our Sports Illustrated site. But it's a great time. Right now, it's championship week, and we're going to preview what's going to happen between Jackson State as well as what's happening at Southern University, who just came off a great win. Coach, you were there at the Bayou Classic. Talk a little bit about it.
Always a great time to be at the Bayou Classic between Southern University and Grambling State. Both teams got off at a slow start, but it was Southern University to win at the end. And, big game. Southern University came out with a slow start, but after the big hit, I think the game kind of made a turn, and that was a vicious hit. It got the attention of a lot of people. I hope the young man is okay. But when you look at this Southern University team right now, they're a dangerous football team, and it's going to be a big game between them and Jackson State on Saturday, Kyle.
Yeah, big game because, like Coach Graves said right after the game, we're a different team than what they saw earlier in the season. And I think he repeated that today at the SWAC media coaches conference that they had. And look, and you've got to say this. Those Cardiac Cats are different. They are a different team. He has a different flavor to him. He brings a different oomph to those guys as well. They're a tough, resilient team. But, Coach, can they hang with Jackson State?
This game Saturday is going to go down to the wire. Now, of course, Jackson State has talent across the board. I think the team that makes the least mistakes are going to win the ball game. But T.C. Taylor, on an outstanding job that he's done this year, quarterback, this game is going to be won by the quarterback, Kyle. And Jacoby Morgan, I'm sure he's upset at not becoming the player of the year. I thought he should have had it, but you can't go wrong with him or Herb Mulligan. But when you look at what the big quarterback has done for Jackson State coming in, winning the ball games, he has a terrific arm. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's going to come in with a chip on his shoulder, and I think the game is going to be won by the quarterback of both teams. So whoever comes in ready to play is going to win the ball game.
All right. Whoever comes ready to play, Coach says. If you guys got some comments, you Jaguars out there, you want to talk about what's going to happen in the big game coming up on Saturday at the Vet, go ahead and put your comments out in the chats. We're going to put it on the board. We'll talk a little bit about that. But first, let's hear what Coach Graves had to say earlier today at the press conference.
Well, last week on Saturday, we participated in the 51st annual Bayou Classic, and it did not disappoint. Tremendous crowd, great luncheon, all the career fairs and everything they had, health fairs, all those things were well. It was a well-attended game. Like I said, it was an outstanding crowd. The players were fired up, played. We played well. We were fortunate to come out with the win, 24-14. And we were glad that we were able to send the seniors out on their last Bayou Classic with a win, and just to win in general. And we wanted to do that for the Jaguar Nation. This week we have an opportunity to represent the Western Division and head to Jackson State or to Jackson, Mississippi to play Jackson State in the SWAC championship game. We'll start tonight rather, in our game prep. And the coaches are working right now, and then we'll practice tonight, and we'll prepare every day this week to go in and play against a really good Jackson State football team. Hats off to my good friend and colleague, Coach T.C. Taylor. Congratulations for being named Coach of the Year. Glad to see him doing well. Thoughts and prayers go out to the Burnett family at Alabama A&M and the entire Alabama A&M family. Just know that we're here for you. We're praying and lifting you up because we're all one family at the end of the day. And again, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to go into Jackson and play against a good football team for the championship. We're excited. We're preparing, and we'll be ready to go on Saturday.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach.
Well, Jalen, as he said before, he prepares every day as a starter, and I think all of our quarterbacks do that. And he had an opportunity and a chance to get a chance to start and play well. And what he does is he's a cool head and he's even keel. He really he takes the coaching well, and he really understands what we're trying to do to facilitate our offense. And so I guess basically just trusting what Coach Frederick, our offense coordinator, and Coach Totten, the quarterback's coach, is coaching them to do. I think that's allowed him to, number one, to get great experience, and number two, to have some success of moving our offense forward. Well, Coach Henry Miller is our defensive coordinator, and he's done a tremendous job, as well as the defensive staff. Those guys have done a really, really good job of preparing our guys and coaching those guys and getting them ready to play week in and week out. I think what's important, of course, Kelby Givens is our bell cow, but then Darius Harry is the other bookend on the other side. And then inside we have Davin Cotton and Willie Miles and Zach Yassin, and those guys are inside, and Jelani Davis. Those guys up front have been doing a really good job of really carrying out their assignments, and then at the linebacker spots, Derek Williams and Vincent Page. Those guys are stalwarts in the inside, and those guys really get the guys lined up. And then on the back end, of course, Horatio Johnson, Rodney Johnson, Trey Harriman Bristol III, and Elijah West. Those guys are the guys that really do a good job. And Jamarius Brown is also another safety back there who does a really good job of communicating. Those guys work well together. And we just have to play our style of football. And we got to make sure that we're assignment sound, we're gap sound. We got to tackle well. We got to pursue and run to the football. And then when we get an opportunity to take the ball away, we have to take the ball away.
All right, that was Coach Terrence Graves. Coach Graves and the Jaguars were really doing a good job holding off opponents. And, I've seen it firsthand when they played Texas Southern. Those guys were able to rally back in overtime. They did it with Prairie View as well as Bethune-Cookman. Coach, talk about the job that Coach Graves has done this season.
Coach Graves is one of the pioneers in our league. You're talking about 32 years of becoming a head coach, and he stuck to the task, and he's doing an outstanding job at Southern University. He's learned under some of the greats like Pete Richardson and Marino Castle. So, Coach Graves is just doing an outstanding job. And when you look at what he's done at Southern, he's right. This is a totally different Southern University team. They have a different quarterback. They have different guys that are starting on defense. So he knows how to make the necessary adjustments, Kyle, during the game and during the practice. He knows what players he needs to have in the ball game. And you have to give him credit for that. And doing that, you got to understand this too. This is Coach Graves' first year at Southern. we're talking about a lot of first-year head coaches doing remarkable things. Coach Graves is in that picture. And to do what he did, and the biggest part about this is a young Southern University ball club. So these guys will be returning. And, to do that at a high level like that, you got most of your team returning back for next year. It just shows the leadership and the task and what he brings to the Southern University program.
Yeah. You talk about young Jalen Woods. And think about this, guys. A couple of games ago, we're not talking about 6 games ago. We're not talking about 5 games ago. Just a couple of games ago, this freshman was thrown into the starting lineup after he felt Noah Biden wasn't as effective as he could have been, as well as TSET. So this young man, he trusted to be able to go into the Bayou Classic and win the contest for them there in New Orleans. But now he's trusting him to be able to win the SWAC football championship against the favorite Jackson State Tigers right now. That's a lot of trust to be able to put into somebody, especially like you said, your first year as a rookie head coach yourself.
Yeah, Kyle, this kid as a freshman, and I'm looking at him, he played poised. He didn't make a lot of mistakes, and he did what the coaches asked him to do. But that just goes to show you the testament of Coach Graves. He had TSET. Then he went on from Noah Biden. This team is loaded with talent. They're young. But his tenacity as a head coach and saying, hey, if this guy don't do it, the next man up, it takes courage to do that. And he found this kid was on, 3rd string of the depth chart.
Yeah.
So, this Southern University team is young. They're loaded with talent. But to have a young football team in the championship game his first year, and you have to give hats out to the staff. Staff stuck with it. They didn't get nervous. They didn't get rattled. And they just kept rallying at the next man up, working hard as a staff. And look and behold, his team is in the championship game. It's going to be a tough game, Saturday. I really do think that Jackson is loaded with talent. I think it's going to be 27-20 Jackson State. But, this is a different Southern University ball club. They're playing lights out on defense, and that kid, the safety Brister, he's a Sundays player. And I'm not just talking about how he's a ball hog. He's a big safety. You're talking about a 6'2", 6'3" safety that can run, that can go up and get the interception, that breaks on the ball well. And this kid is just a freshman.
Wow.
So,
just a freshman.
Yeah.
I didn't know Bristol was just a freshman, man. Golly.
And that's remarkable. These coaches are up all night. They're working hard because they know at Southern University's championship or bust. It takes a strong guy to be ready for that type of mentality at that job. But what better guy to have it than Coach Graves? Coach
Graves, tremendous job for him as well as the Jaguars. Those guys went, was it 7-1? 7-1 in the SWAC this year. And it's tremendous testament to the faith that A.D. Banks had in him as well. So Jalen Woods, he only completed just 9 of 17 passes, but it was for 188 yards, 1 touchdown and an interception. Senior wideout Chandler Whitfield, who also was the Bayou Classic offensive MVP, he picked up 5 receptions for 146 yards and a tremendous touchdown. Man, did you see that catch he had, man?
Yeah, outstanding catch, but
wow.
An outstanding throw.
Yeah.
You're talking about a freshman that had the guts to stick in the pocket and take the big hit while he was throwing the football. But that, like I said, that's just the testimony of the head coach to go with a true freshman in a big football game like this. And then you have him again this week in another big championship game. So, like I said, this team is loaded with talent. They're just young. But to have a 90% freshman sophomore football team in the championship game, first year as a head coach, is remarkable.
Very remarkable. And on the opposite side of this break, we're going to pick up and talk a little bit about Grambling, what's happening with those guys, but also we'll hear from Coach T.C. Taylor, who is the coach of the year for the SWAC this season. So stay with us. We'll be back in 2 and 2.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
I got you something.
We said no gift.
We had to get you something.
Thank you, honey.
I got you this.
Did you do this yourself?
Yeah, I had a great teacher.
Happy birthday.
I love you.
I love you too.
Love you. Thank you.
This is from me to you.
I am genius.
Amazon Fall Favorites are here. Save on fashion, home, beauty, and more. Shop Amazon Fall Favorites now.
This is not just delivery. This is knowing even superheroes can use a sidekick. Walgreens.
Something amazing is happening here. Climate researchers are weathering a data storm. That's because CDW transformed their devices and infrastructure with Lenovo ThinkPads and powerful edge-to-cloud solutions, delivering faster insights and increased performance, giving them the scale to stay ready for whatever's next. Make amazing happen. Lenovo and CDW.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too much. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Incredible story. Thanks, Louis. Right out the gate, Kendrick runs. He's not like us. Touchdown.
That was Mr. Kendrick Rhymes putting the dagger into the Tigers as the Jaguars went on to win the Bayou Classic. But that run, that 45-yard run there, Coach, that really punctuated what the Jaguars were about, finding a way to be able to hold off their opponents when they need to at the opportune time. How important is it to have like Dylan and Rhymes in the backfield and Russell as well?
Well, it's very important because now you're a balanced football team, you know, and I think that's what Southern is right now. They're very balanced. They can run the ball. They can throw it. The big receivers can jump up and catch it. And so they're very balanced, but it took time. And that's what Coach Graves was saying, you know, and unfortunately, his players bought in quick, fast, in a hurry. And they're executing at a high level right now. They're confident. And that's what's going to make this SWAC championship game, I believe it's going to be a sellout. When you hear the Jaguar Nation at the end of the Bayou Classic saying they are going to be in Jackson, I think it's going to be a sold-out football game.
Go Jags, go. All right. Look, man, Miles Crawley, he came back. I saw that injury he had at Texas Southern. Didn't look good. Didn't think he would be able to return. He did return, but he didn't look like the Miles Crawley of games past. And right. It kind of broke my heart to see him kind of end his career in that manner. What's next for this young man? Well,
you know, he has to get himself ready for the next level. You know, I don't know what he's doing to prepare himself, but he has to get with a sports agency and go out to some of these big quarterback gurus or quarterback camp and just work on his fundamentals. He has the arm, but he needs to work on his fundamentals. He needs to work on his footwork and his release. When you look at Miles Crowley, he's a big pocket passer with a slow release. He needs to work on his release, get his release quicker, and it's not a hard thing to do. It can really be a quick fix. You got a lot of good quarterback coaches that are out there. Coach Whitfield that works with Doug in the Legacy Bowl will be a guy that I would look at too. And the Palmer brothers.
Okay. Here's a question that somebody was throwing at me. Because Miles was predicted to be the preseason SWAC offensive player of the year, right?
Right.
And we have Mickey Joseph, who he's not brand new to this game.
Right.
And you had Eric Dooley, not brand new to this game. Why couldn't that relationship with Miles develop throughout this season? Because he had an up and down season. What was missing? Is it that there's a disconnect somewhere with the offensive staff? Miles Crowley, what? Because he has so much potential.
Well, it's real simple, Kyle. They didn't, if I'm the head coach at Grambling right now, they didn't fit the system towards their talent. And what I mean by that is, Coach Dooley ran a system, but it didn't fit Miles Crowley's system. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, things that he did or things that he drew up, Miles Crowley couldn't do. So, and then Grambling never did make the necessary adjustments to prepare for Miles Crowley's arm and to show his talent as a quarterback. And I thought that was coaching later on down the road because, when you look at him yesterday, of course, he didn't look the same. I saw a play that Grambling ran, that I didn't agree with. I don't believe it, and Grambling has talent, but running a 5'9" receiver down the field against a corner that's taller than you, I thought that was coaching. You asked a little guy to jump up and catch a big pass. So, I mean, I don't want to criticize him like that, but I will say this: it just didn't fit Miles Crowley, the athlete.
All right, the Grambling quarterbacks, Miles Crowley as well as Dale J. Bailey, exchange. They kind of swapped them out, right? In and out. Crowley had 6 of 16 completions for 34 yards and an interception. Bailey tossed 5 completions for 65 yards. Not the best day, all in all, for the GSU Tigers. So that's something that hopefully that we'll see a change from Coach Joseph going into next season, right? So let's hear a little bit from TC Taylor and his thoughts about going into this SWAC championship game.
Get a chance to blink, a good South Carolina State team too. So it's going to be a fast, 13 days here, coming up 12 days actually. So, but always good when you can get home, eat a little turkey, enjoy the holidays. But we're right where we want to be as a program. We talked about getting ready in the off-season playing in December, and this is our opportunity to get ready for postseason play. So we're looking forward to hosting a SWAC championship this weekend. They were figuring some things out. Same with us. They're on their third quarterback. Didn't know if they wanted to be a running team or a passing team when we first played them. So you do see improvements, and a team that won the West. A lot of good football been played over there. So they right where they want to be. T. Graves is a great friend of mine. Their head football coach. They got some great players there. But I'm gonna say this too: we're not the same. We're not the same going into this game. We're a little different too. We were still trying to figure some things out in that game. Irv Mulligan, that was his first game back, I believe. And he's made huge strides. Jacobian Morgan came in off the bench in that game, and he's been our starter, going forward after that football game. So it's going to be a great football game. You can't put the rivalry past, but you have to throw all that out. It's postseason football, so we got to go out here and figure out a way to win this football game. He's a slippery guy, if that makes sense. He does a good job of, trusting his coaching and staying, if it's an A-gap type call or a B-gap type call, he's going to be there. And that's what I told the defense talking to them on yesterday. We got to be gap sound. And, if we're responsible for an A-gap fit or a B-gap fit, we got to be there because this guy, if he's able to get to the second level, he can finish runs. He's had a great second half of the season. He's been good for him. They've really figured some things out up front on the O-line. They've, toggled a lot of guys around there, but they're playing good physical football right now. They understand, where we want to be and what we're trying to get done this season. But, I told them, after the break, we got to lock back in. It's time to get back to work. It's a lot of teams that's coming off the break that are done, we're hanging up, turning in pads and stuff like that. But we're one of the few that are still playing football. So as long as we have that opportunity, we got to finish this deal out. But they get it, and they understand it. These coaches, everybody in the building understand what we're trying to get done. The years, that's 21, 22. I think this is 24. Two totally different teams, different coaches, different players, different cultures. So, we got to take care of 24. We did it in 21, we did it in 22. Wanted to get back in 23, so now we just got to take care of the things that we can take care of in 24 and go out here and play our best football and not try to find ways to beat ourselves. Like I said, two totally different teams, two totally different teams. We had plans in last year of getting here, but we were still building. 7-4 wasn't bad, but now, to be undefeated in conference, and giving yourself an opportunity to play in postseason ball, that's all you can you ask for as a coaching staff and as a football team. So we don't want to take this opportunity lightly. A lot of teams want to be in this position, and we're one of the few teams that are blessed to be able to host a championship game in your home stadium. So we're excited about that whole deal.
How did you feel about that?
Everybody in the building been messing with me about that, talking about congratulations. They've been, really picking with me about it. But like I told the coaches this morning, since that was announced, I'm nothing without you guys. I didn't win that award alone. And, that's how I was going to answer that too. But I didn't win that award alone. I'm going to tell the players that as well. And we got some players out here that has been doing some great things with the Irv Mulligan, Offensive Player of the Year, Travis Terrell. It's a total team effort. Anytime you can be announced Coach of the Year, that says a lot about the people that's behind you and pushing you, and you're growing within the building day in, day out.
Coach T.C. Taylor, Coach Stewart is the SWAC Coach of the Year, a great honor in his second season with the program as the lead man. He's now gotten that shadow of Coach Prime from around his shoulders. That monkey's off his back. He is the man, and he's proven it, and he's assembled a great staff as well as a great team. Talk about the Tigers, and I say the with T-H-E-E, the Tigers.
Oh, yeah, of course, T.C. Taylor, outstanding job he's done at Jackson State in year two. And let's just say this, Kyle. The Jackson State pressure, the Southern University pressure, the Grambling pressure, and the Florida A&M pressure, it's all the same. You got to win and be in the championship game every year. And T.C. Taylor knew what he had to do going into this season. And he set his goals down. He accomplished them. You're talking about sleepless nights. You're talking about being away from your family. You're talking about staying consistent. And that's what he did as a head coach. You're talking about recruiting at a high level. And then you're talking about satisfying the JSU fans by being in the championship game, bringing in millions of dollars to Jackson State. And
Wait, how many dollars? Millions. I like that.
And so you have to give this guy credit, man. A lot of people, say, oh, it's Jackson State, but to rebuild a roster, to get high recruits in, is very hard in a short period of time. And this guy committed himself to the job, and he did a remarkable job. And just got to congratulate him on getting Coach of the Year. He deserved it. And but the kicking part to this is this: he has to defend it next year. And so that's what I want coaches to know about taking these big jobs. You have to be ready for it. Yeah, they're going to enjoy this, but he has to defend it next year. And that's what makes these type of jobs hard. But, you know, you got the best two teams in the SWAC ready to win a championship. And like I say, it's going to be Ali versus Frazier on Saturday.
Who's going to be Ali? Who's going to be Frazier? We know that's the deal. A lot of people don't realize this. Ali lost that first fight against Frazier in New York City. And the heavyweight, everybody thought Ali coming back into the ring, he was going to put it on old Smokey Joe. Well, Smokey Joe smoked him twice, rocked his bell, knocked him down. So who's going to be the knockdowns? Who's going to have that thump and that thunder? We're going to talk about that. The keys to winning the SWAC championship on the opposite side of our commercial break. Guys, don't forget, we got a number of comments. We're going to put some of these comments up as well, but we're going to talk about what's going to happen in this game, some keys. Coach Stewart is going to break us down.
November is American Diabetes Month. And while nearly half of us have diabetes or prediabetes, every story is personal. There are stories of strength.
Every day is different. Not one day is the same.
Hard work.
No es tenerle miedo realmente a la enfermedad. Es saber cómo combatir la enfermedad.
And heartbreak.
When she passed away, it was because of diabetes.
But no matter your diabetes story, we fight for you and to find a cure. Join us at diabetes.org.
To the inconsiderate monster who has been stealing my pudding, I hope your conscience eats at you as you have eaten my pudding. Bring my pudding back. I wish you the worst, Dale.
Beautiful words. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Come to McDonald's and treat yourself to the Grandma McFlurry today.
So I trust everyone's read the prospectus. Lance, why don't you take us through it?
Let's get into the prospectus.
Okay.
All right, Kyle T. Mosley of HBCU Legends, as well as the Black Sports Insiders, here with Coach Darryl Stewart on the phone. Coach, let's talk about the keys to winning the SWAC football championship on Saturday at the Vet. Let's start with Southern. Give us three main keys for those guys to win.
It's real simple for Southern University. They have to go in, number one, they can't make mistakes. You make a mistake against Jackson State, it's going to cost you. The second thing they're going to have to do is they're going to have to make plays because this Jackson State University team doesn't have a weakness. And the third thing they're going to have to do is the most important thing, Kyle. The coaches are going to have to manage the game well. Coach Graves is going to have to call an excellent game along with Coach Frederick, the offensive coordinator. He's going to have to call an excellent game on a tough Jackson State team. And for Jackson State, it's simple. You know.
Well, hold. Before we go to Jackson State, let's stick with Southern, right? Let's talk a little bit about this. You said Southern must limit the mistakes. And over the past couple of games, they have done just that. They've also eliminated something that was plaguing them earlier this season, penalties. And I like what I've seen in those guys thus far. Talk about why the penalties can really hurt a team if they want to be able to progress in a championship atmosphere.
Well, the penalties can hurt you because if you give Jackson State grace field position with players like Herb Mulligan and Fertillion, the big 6'5" wide receiver that destroyed Alcorn, it will capitalize and hurt your team. You can't get down against Jackson because you're asking a young football team to come from behind. It's going to be hard to do. And so you don't want to make those mental mistakes and have to coach the team up in so many ways during the game. You want to limit that and stay focused and just try not to get behind because, like I said, if you make those type of mistakes, a bad penalty, get in bad field position, Jackson State will make you pay for it.
Okay. And also, we forgot to mention congratulations to Mr. Gibbons, who is the co-defensive player of the year for the SWAC. And he was wreaking havoc against the G-men. And I just would like to say he's one of the key players I would have as far as the X Factor is concerned. Who are a couple other X Factor players on that Southern team?
Of course, Kelvin Gibbons. He kind of reminds you of a Von Miller. This guy's a wrecking machine, Kyle. And he has the rest of the players on defense thinking that way. And another guy is Herman Bristol III. This kid is going to be a star. Southern University hadn't had a star on defense in a long time. This kid is going to be a star in this league. And they just have a great defense right now, a young, talented defense. And I just think it's going to be a tough game on Saturday if these guys get to clicking.
Yeah. And you heard Coach T.C. Taylor talking a little bit about Rhymes as well as what he can do, be able to be that explosive threat for the Jaguars whenever they need him to do so as well, coming out of the backfield. Let's turn our attention to Jackson State. Who are some of the players that you would say will be the keys to winning for those guys?
Of course, they have to contain the big quarterback. This kid is poised. He can hurt you. He can make all the throws. If you let him sit back there, he's going to destroy you. He's playing at a high level right now. Jacoby and Morgan is the key to this. You know, a lot of people talk about Herb Mulligan, but the key to this Jackson State team right now is Jacoby and Morgan. When you look at what he did and his weapons, you know, they went down to Alcorn and literally destroyed Alcorn, Cal. You know, if you don't tackle the big 6'5" wide receiver Fertillion, he'll hurt you. You know, this kid can catch a hitch and take it for 80. And he's just physical, a big physical wide receiver. Kind of reminds you of the great Michael Hayes from Southern University. But when you look at this kid, he catches the ball and he runs like a deer. If you don't tackle him, Southern's going to have a long day because this kid can hurt you. And, of course, Herb Mulligan. Herb Mulligan is going to play on Sundays. I don't care what nobody says. This kid is a physical running back. He has that it factor. He can take it to the next level. And you know, Jackson State just loaded with talent. Then you got the other big 6'4" receiver, Spencer. And so, you know, Jackson State just can't beat themselves. And like I said.
Like we always say, in Irv, we trust, right?
Right.
What are some of the keys for Jackson State as a team that they need to do? Give us 3 keys that come to your mind, how they could be able to win this game.
Well, it's going to be a big crowd. I think it's probably going to be the biggest crowd they played in all year. And so they can't get too overly hyped. They got to stick to the script, stick to the game plan, and do what their coaches tell them to do. 2, the quarterback can't make mistakes. You know, just stick to the script. Don't try to do anything fancy, and don't beat yourself. You know, Southern will make you beat yourself. You know, and then the third thing, They can't, get caught up into the hype, the pushing and the shoving. Don't cost the team penalties. Go to the sideline. Don't get into the big fights and what we see in these games these last couple of weeks. Stay out of the way. Stay out of the refs' way. If
Stay out of the refs' way. I like that.
Out of the refs' way. If they can do that, they'll win the ball game.
All right. We got Keep It Up Fam. He says all Jackson State had to do is get off the bus. They're the SWAC champions. They'll be ready to beat South Carolina State next week on the 14th, rather. All right. So interesting. Keep it up, fam. He has some other interesting things to say about the FCS. We'll talk a little bit about that later in the program. But Coach, this is going to be a good affair. I think right now both teams have started to trend in the right direction. So you don't have one team that's kind of tailing off, and you have both of those teams really getting to those spots because they are playing at a high level. And Keep It Up Fam just said they'll bring the SWAC title back to Walter Payton and make over $1 million in the process. Talk about a win-win for JSU. JSU,
Man,
rock you, yeah.
Well, of course, you got to give A.D. Robinson credit, man, bringing this game in Jackson.
Yeah.
A possible sellout crowd, hotels. You're talking about the city's going to make money. Everybody's going to make money. And of course, it's the championship game to host that. You got to give credit to the JSU administration. We don't give these administrators a lot of credit, but they put the pressure on Coach Taylor and on A.D. Robinson behind closed doors. And so the job that the Vice President, Dr. Gregory, and President Thompson, that what they do at Jackson State, hey, give them credit. They're off to a great start, and it's excellence, Kyle.
Yeah. I want to hear from you, SU Jaguars, as well as do GSU fans. Talk to me. What's your score prediction? How do you see it? What's it going to be? What's it going to be coming down at the vet on Saturday? Coach, give me your prediction, Doc.
Well, of course, it's going to be a hype game. And, you can throw the record books out, kind of like the Bayou Classic. But if you let Jackson State talent get to rolling, Kyle, it is just hard to stop this explosive offense. Like I said, Southern hadn't seen big receivers like they're going to see on Saturday. And if they show any signs of weakness, Jackson State is, I say Jackson State 28-14.
All right, Coach, 28-14. He sees this probably as an early defensive struggle. And that's kind of the similar score that Jackson State had against Prairie View that first year, right? 24-17, I think, something to that nature. It wasn't until James the Problem Houston turned the game around with that interception, pick six, and that was a great scene to be able to behold. I was right there at the vet, and man, when they started playing JSU Rock You, ooh, it was over, baby. All right, let's talk. If you guys got any more, we're going to talk a little bit more about the game, but let's pick up on some more important topics that has recently hit the wire, man. And we got to start off with Mike Tomlin, 18 straight winning seasons as the head coach of the Steelers. Right quick, how do you feel about that?
Very, very. When you talk about African-American coaches, when you're talking about Mike Tomlin operating at a high level, he's coaching at the pinnacle. He's in the NFL. And so, we all dream and desire to coach on that level. And he's doing it at a high level and just staying consistent. I would like to know, how does he stay consistent at that level, with all the distractions, staying focused. It's very tough to do. He has done it, Kyle, and just a remarkable job what he has done for that Steelers organization. and their program, because you do not hear about a lot of Steelers players in any off the field problems. They all get paid with. And shout out to the Rooneys. You know,
right.
you just don't hear a dysfunctional organization.
All right. Let's talk about another NFLer, Teddy Bridgewater. He's now the head coach of his alma mater, the Northwestern Miami Bulls. And those guys have been, let's see, they won the first game 69-0, 66-12, the second one. And the one latest was 55-0. All of those are playoff wins, Coach. Playoff wins. And now he has his team in the semifinals, a game away from advancing to the championship round. Congratulations to you, Teddy. And we got to talk about Jerry Mack, who's now the new head football coach of Kennesaw State. Of course, he is the former head football coach of NCCU, as well as he's a former coach of the year. Talk about what Jerry Mack will bring to that program for the Owls.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Jerry Mack on getting an outstanding job. He's been on this coaching race for a long time. He's won championships, and I'm sure he's going to do it at Kennesaw State. He's in a great area, the Atlanta area, my second home. It's just a remarkable thing for him to go in and get that job and now perform at a high level as being a head coach. And I'm sure he's going to do an outstanding job of getting talent in there to win that conference.
All right. Of course, if we did not mention this earlier, Bubba McDowell, we know, is out at Prairie View, but we also had Dawson Oldhams to be released from his contract over at Norfolk State this past week. And Dr. Melody Webb was in control of that. They're doing a national search there. Anton Goff at Prairie View, he's doing a national search as well. Both of those guys have engaged search firms to be able to do the process. I have an article coming out on that a little bit later this week, so we'll talk more about that. But also, Connell Mayer is now out at Alabama A&M. Talk about what you see on this landscape. Are we going to anticipate a couple more firings ahead?
Well, I'm just going to talk about the ones right now that I know about, and those ones you named are all in search of a great head coach. I think what they have to look for now is a guy to come in and be patient.
Coach Darryl Stewart, I think that's a good guy.
Hey, I'm ready, Kyle. I'm ready. But when you talk about a Prairie View right now, you're in that talented city of Houston, where it's loaded with talent. But I think what's happening is the administrators want to win right now. So you have to create a great game plan to win in year one. There's no more strategic 3-year plans. And so, guys, the only thing that I can tell you and that I've been told, your game plan needs to be win in year one. And so if you're not a talented recruiter, if you don't know a lot of high school coaches, or if you're not connected, these type of jobs are just not for you, because you're going to have to win in year one.
Okay, well, we got a winner who's out there on the market. He's now the running backs coach at Duke University, but he's been interviewing for a head coach's job. He was an interviewee at Rice University. I think he also was up for one of those Florida schools to interview there as well as a head coach. We're talking about none other than HBCU National Championship coach from FAMU, Mr. Willie Simmons. Coach, what's going on? Why hasn't Coach Simmons been able to land a big job that he's more than capable of improving that program wherever he goes?
That's a great question, Kyle. I mean, Coach Willie Simmons shouldn't be on the market too long. I don't know what's going on in the interview process. But clearly he's a great head coach. And if I'm a president right now, I'm trying to look for ways to snatch him and get him off the market. Now, of course, his price tag is up right now. He's making $500,000 at Duke, $550,000 at Duke. He's making big money. So you talking about a head coaching position. Could that be the problem? I don't know. We don't know. But unfortunately, he has to find the right fit. You know, I was very shocked that Southern Miss didn't go after him, but they went after Coach Huff at Marshall. You know, that was a good job.
And he is only a one-win coach this season.
Right.
That was so interesting. Why? Because I know Jerry Mack was up for that position as well.
Right.
I thought Coach Simmons would have been a very high on their list. I do know in talking to the people over at Rice, Coach Simmons was right behind the coach that they brought in, Coach Abel. So we'll see and keep our eye on him. And of course, you got some NFLers being mentioned, like Ray Lewis for a couple of those Florida, I think the Florida Atlantic position, right?
Right.
And that's a possibility. You might see him coming into the job or the FIU job.
Or you might see him at UCF. You know,
UCF, right?
If I'm a president right now, and of course Coach Simmons knows the Florida system real well. He knows how to recruit that Florida area real well. I mean, I'm bringing him to Florida. I mean, you got great jobs that are open in Florida. I don't know who his agent is, but clearly, he's a winner, and he should land one of those jobs.
Okay. And of course, we talked about the Bayou Classic and what happened there. But guys, we got to talk about this. A couple of high-profile guys who made their mark over at Arkansas Pine Bluff. I know people say, wow, that's just Arkansas Pine Bluff. It doesn't matter. These are two important pieces of Alonzo Hampton's team, Giovanni Gibson as well as Mekhi Higgins. Those guys are entering the transfer portal. His top offensive threats are now leaving. What does that do for a coach at this stage?
It was shocking when I heard it, Kyle. And normally when your top players leave, something's going on, either in administration or on the coaching staff. To lose the quarterback and the top receiver, the best player on the team, is something definitely going on with the Pine Bluff program. But it was shocking to me. Let's hope they correct it. But it's definitely something going on when you lose these high-quality players.
All right. As well as the NCCU Eagles, Trey Oliver is going to lose his best weapon in the backfield, and that's running back Jamari Taylor. He's a graduate student that's going to be transferring to a new program as well. And let's talk about what happened this weekend. Virginia Union, these guys won their second playoff game. They just didn't beat Lenore Ryan. They beat down Lenore Ryan. That was a 44-pointer that they put up. Jada Byers, we have here his picture up. He is up for the Harlan Trophy, and that's for the best outstanding Division II player of the year. So congratulations to him. Let's see how that works for him. And it was all roads to end in Montana for Eddie George and the Tennessee State Tigers, who gave Montana all that they could. They kept fighting most of that game, and it was just too much at the end, too many missed tackles and missed angles. Just the defense is what really hurt them. But the offense, they kept fighting, got within 7 points a couple of times before Montana's the Grizzlies pulled away. Kudos to you, Coach George, for also being the coach of the year for the OVC. And Chinnis Berry is the coach of the year for the MEAC. Talk about him right quick.
Well, of course, the job that Coach Chinnis Berry has done at South Carolina State in year one is remarkable. You know, anytime a head coach can come in and take his program to the championship game in year one, it just says a lot about the program and a lot about the administration and a lot about these institutions that you can win in year one. When a lot of head coaches go into these interviews, they're gonna use what Coach Berry and Coach Taylor has done in such a short period of time. And so I just think, what they've done right now is set the bar high in HBCU football.
Yeah. Only problem I would see, I don't really see a problem. I shouldn't say about Coach George or Coach Berry. What I'm trying to respond to Keep It Up Fam. He put up here that at Prairie View, only Andre Johnson will be the right person. It's a no-brain hire. Well, the problem is Andre Johnson doesn't have a master's.
Right.
Yeah, and he has to work on that.
Yeah, and I think that's at all the schools, Kyle. I think, matter of fact, I don't think I know. You have to have a master's degree to work on the collegiate level at the HBCUs.
Right.
As far as being a head coach.
Right. And that was the limitation he had at Texas Southern. Also, James Bush says Eddie George has been grinding. I'm very proud of the work he's been doing and sticking to the mission of helping our schools. He's definitely is deserving of the honor. Now, here's a question. Out of Chennis Berry, T.C. Taylor, Eddie George, which one of those, as well as Dr. Alvin Parker at Virginia Union, which one of those gentlemen who you would think will be the overall HBCU Coach of the Year?
Of course, for me, it's going to be T.C. Taylor because of the pressure is a little bit different. Because of, you look at it, if Coach Berry wasn't in the championship game, of course, South Carolina State is going to keep him, it's just a great season. But when you talk about Jackson State at that pressure, you got to win year in and year out. And so, to do it at that level, of course, T.C. Taylor, it's real tough to do. The coaches before him didn't do it, and that's why they're not there. But Coach Prime came in. But I can say before Coach Prime. And so they know the expectation. It's much harder to do. And so, of course, T.C. Taylor, Coach of the Year.
No, Coach Berry, Coach of the Year. That's my guy. You see what we got to do, Coach? We got to put it all together. We're dogs here. We can't have any fleas. We got to get those fleas off us. Jackson State is just going to be a flea. That's all we're going to do. We're going to shake them off. Oh, man. Coach Berry, he is my Coach of the Year. Thinking what he's been able to do in Coach year one. Man, it's incredible. Sam Shade over at Miles, man. I think Sam Shade's name should be mentioned for that PV job.
Sam Shade is an outstanding coach. Like I said, I had a chance to coach with him in the high school level, against him. But he's been doing it a long time. He's worked at some high-power high schools, and then he moved up to Miles College. And I'm told that, one day he was supposed to coach at his alma mater, Alabama. So, who knows what's at stake for Sam Shade?
Yeah, Sam Shade did an excellent job with those guys over at the Golden Bears. They did lose this past weekend to Valdosta State, who will be going on to play Virginia Union. This is going to be a good one. That's going to be a good one. Tremaine Johnson, he is an excellent coach, and I think he was the first Black coach in that conference to be hired, right? And what he's done for Valdosta State is tremendous. There was a report by Stephen J. Gaither on HBCU Game Day today stating that Valdosta State is a candidate to go into the SIAC.
Wow.
Hold on your horses. That is going to be a good move. That's going to be a move to help elevate the SIAC as well, man. So hold on. We're going to have more coming from that. And, Gaither is on top of that, especially when it comes to Division II. So that's awesome to see. All right, Coach, any last thoughts about the big games? Any last comments before we sign off?
Well, Kyle, it was a great season. Disappointed for some teams, but, the head coaching position is a tough position. A lot of us want to get into it, but you got to be ready for it, man. And it's tough right now, man, for these guys, man, because you hate to see anyone lose their job, but that's the nature of the business. We know they're going in, but just a great season, man. And I want to congratulate all the coaches and go into the off season recruiting at a high level. Get your NIL money together because I got a high school championship game to go to Friday night, and that's all the parents are talking about. And so my guess is get with your ADs, get your NIL money together, and go out there and get a quarterback, Kyle.
Yeah. And if they go to the SIAC, keep it up, fam, said Tennessee State may make that run to the MEAC.
Wow.
Interesting. Guys, this has been a good show. Follow us at hbculegends.net on Sports Illustrated, and you can check us out on Wednesday night when we have the whole crew coming in from the Black Sports Insiders, and we're going to still talk more about what's going to happen when we have Keisha Kelly of the Black College Experience, as well as Wilton Jackson. We got Jackson State versus Southern. It's a family fight. I'll be there to referee it because I'm from the house, baby. All right, Coach. Thank you so much. Tell everybody how they can find you on the World Wide Web.
You can find me at tycoonleague2@gmail.com. Also with the great Kyle T. Moser, HBCUlegends.com.
All right. That's right. Go to hbculegends.net. You can be able to find me at HBCU Legends, or you can find me at KTMOZE on X, as well as Facebook, as well as on Instagram. Guys, thank you for following us. Thank you for being with us. And don't forget, be safe out there. Our prayers out to Trent Williams and his family. They lost their baby, newborn as well, he and his wife. Pray for that family. Taysom Hill, he's out for the season. McCaffrey's out for the season. Looks like a lot of these guys are getting injured, but also to the Burnett family, we're praying for you guys losing a tremendous young man. Everybody told me from the Grambling as well as from Alabama A&M that he was just a tremendous, well-liked kid, and to be able to lose him, we just got to keep everybody in our prayers.
Grambling lost somebody?
Excuse me?
Grambling lost somebody?
Burnett was a transfer from Grambling. So his first season was with Hugh Jackson at Grambling before he moved on to Alabama A&M. Yeah, keep it up, fam. You got the prayer, you got the hands. Yeah. Guys, thank you all for following us. If y'all have any tips, any comments, send them to Coach. I don't take tips. We like to have fun. And Travis Hunter, that's HBCU pedigree. I don't care what anybody tells you. Travis Hunter is HBCU. Shador Sanders, HBCU. Shiloh, HBCU. Deion Sanders, HBCU. Got to follow that. We're going to talk more next show. Talk about the NILs, the problems there. Some of these coaches in big-time FBS footballs, they got big-time buyouts. They're getting fired left and right. Ryan Walters over at Purdue got fired. He is owed $9.3 million, Coach. West Virginia's coach, Neil Brown, is owed $9.7 million. And we can't even get our coaches to be owed $97,000. So I don't make this stuff up, guys. All right, guys. And appreciate you guys. Be with us and stay with us. We'll be back for everything that happens in this wacky SWAC. Take care. Have a good one.